friend, this is Ola coming to you live from my Empire Pro Studios. On this episode, we are doing the chapter 2 of the Stock Foreclosure Secrets, the Sell or Keep. The title is Sell or Keep. So it's time to decide whether you want to sell or keep your property. This is a decision that you really can't avoid. What do you want to do? Okay, it's not my job to tell you what to do, but to share your options and the ups and downsides to each option with you. Speaking of options, you've got only 3 options within the scope of this chapter. You want to cut your losses. Number 1, cut your losses and move on earlier to greater financial future. Number 2, nurse the wound a lot longer and mess up your credit a little further. Number 3, create a new income and money source. Pay all the past due and stop the foreclosure process today. So the third option will be a dream come true. It will be a miracle. I will give you my best shot on how to increase your chances. However, if miracles happen like that, everyone would be using it, right? It's called a miracle because it doesn't happen every day. If you would make such miracle happen, if you could make such miracle happen, you wouldn't have found this book, right? You wouldn't have found this book. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that you're left with the first 2 options. So we're back to a decision to sell and get rid of the liability or try to save the property. So let's talk about saving the property first. You see, it comes down to the money as always. The bank and lien holder that you owe money to will only allow you to keep the collateral if it makes financial sense to them. Believe me, it's a possibility, but the chances are very slim. For example, if you live in an undesirable neighborhood, abandoning the property creates more downside and additional loss for the bank. The collateral gets exposed to neighborhood human rats who can break in, steal all fixtures, and leave major damages, right? That simple scenario right there means losing more money for the bank, but not so much, not necessarily for you. You probably already lost money and your credit ratings. This hardship explanation I just gave right here, in addition with a plan to catch up with payment, can help the bank deem it more profitable to help you save the property. If you have a hardship and you can explain it, then you can say, hey, this is my plan, okay? However, saving the property is not always your best financial option. When I'm talking about that, I'm talking about you personally. At this moment, I want you to take a minute to write down your own version of how you got into the mess in the first place. If the reason why you got into the mess is still in existence, like most people, then saving the property becomes a temporary fix. When the trouble does resurface again, it usually shows up with more intensity. This has caused a lot of family homelessness and pain. You see, pain and suffering is usually a result of not acknowledging and facing reality early enough. Your story may be a little different, but I've consulted with so many people that I know it probably is not that different. It's that old saying again that you can avoid reality, but you can't avoid the consequences of avoiding reality. Here's the good news. The reality may not be as bad as you think, but the consequences of avoiding it will be a lot more painful. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't try to save the property. I'm saying that you should make sure that in the grand scheme of things is the best financial option for you. For most people that are 3 to 6 months or more late on payment, it's not the best option, especially from a future financial health standpoint. Saving the property tends to be a form of digging a deeper hole. There is another saying, when you find yourself in the hole, the first thing you want to do is stop digging. Typically, people would go borrow money to pay the lien holder. However, that creates a new obligation. It's even worse when you start borrowing money from family and friends. They can be your worst enemy after helping you out. This kind of things create a very stressful lifestyle, and you do not have to experience that if you understand how money works. It's never a good idea to borrow money to pay off another debt. It just gets worse. So let me tell you my story. There was a time that I struggled financially and I became very desperate. The state of being desperate is not a place you ever want to be. People tend to make very poor financial decisions in that state, and that's what I did. It was tough in my business, and the very first thing that I could have done is to find a short term solution to cash flow. I was too stubborn with focus on my primary business, so I came up with the idea of borrowing a personal loan $10,000 from a family member to catch up. It was a bad idea. This person was very nice to help me and my family out, but please help me out, okay? I want you to hear me out, more importantly, okay? I really appreciate that they were able to help me out, but please hear me out. This very wrong decision came with an everlasting price. Okay, the fact that the decision to borrow this money came with an everlasting price that at present time I'm still paying for. The individual is connected to me through another very close family member. Honestly, it took me way longer than I would like to pay the money back, and that's to that person's credit. And when I paid back, I had to borrow from another friend of mine to pay the loan back. Again, seems like I was digging a deeper and deeper hole, but this time around I had a plan to bring income, to create a source of income. In spite of the fact that I paid the money back with a $1,500 interest, which is essentially 15%, the downside to getting involved in this personal loan was greater than the pain I was avoiding at the time. Anyway, I paid back. As it comes in everyone's life, I had disagreement among a few family friends. This particular person, lender, or lender as you want to call it, was at the very core center of a continual and vile instigation of a negative emotional roller coaster that rocked my family for a long time and almost destroyed it. I don't know if it is true, but my true feelings was that this person thought they were licensed to be disrespectful to me and the well-being of my family, so I called the person out on the BS. I didn't stop there. I called the person outside of their name. I was very upset. I was emotional, and it became very nasty. One of the issues that came up was that I had no right to demand respect because I took a personal loan in the past of $10,000 from this person, a loan that was already paid back with interest. Well, to cut the long story short, that person has chosen to not talk to me anymore, at least at press time. That's fine, as I can respect their personal choice. That's okay. I had to agree with their choice. However, it's a little sad when the person claims to love your family and kids, but they're also willing to sacrifice everything because of a disagreement. I've actually taken a higher road and apologized multiple times. However, that person has tried to passive aggressively turn my other family and friends against me. What's the moral of this story? Borrowing money from family and friends to launch a business is okay as long as they understand they are making a personal choice to believe in you and your business idea. Borrowing money to pay other loan back without a clear path, okay? Keyword, without a clear path to income generation can create a massive viral disrespect. I have tons of stories like this one, not from me personally, but please, by all means, you must not engage in creating another one. Let's talk about the option of selling. Selling the property is always a choice. That's where an investor like myself can step in and take the property from you at fair market value. The property is serving as a liability for you, but we have things in place where we can help you create income and you can set your path, set your foot on a path for better financial future. For most people, you're better off selling this property at this point. If you deem your chances of paying what you owe being very likely, you can always issue a statement of good faith. Then you can execute on putting the funds together, and then you can pay the bank and the lien holder the due balance to bring in things. That means bringing the loan back to current. If you don't see raising the funds happening, your best chances to a better financial future is to sell the property at fair market value. Consider your immediate need to offload this piece of liability. To do that is very simple. All you have to do is just give me a call. I'm a local investor here in New Jersey, and I buy all the time across the nation. To be honest with you, even if you don't have any equity, I have solutions for that if your house is underwater. Okay, so my name is Ola, and you can reach my text You can reach me by text or a phone call at 732-309-3834. Be sure to leave some type of message if I couldn't pick up your call, and I'll get back to you within 24 business hours. I also facilitate how you can best move forward into a better financial future with unique income and business opportunities. So here are 7 steps to saving your property and further credit damage if that's what you've chosen to do. Step 1, realize that cash flow is king. Not cash, but cash flow is king. You need cash flow, and the bank needs your cash flow. That means if you don't have a consistent income presently, you cannot keep the property. Remember, that also means that your bank, the mortgagee or the lien holder, will not get cash flow from your asset as well if you don't create the cash flow, right? Step 2, write down 5 different ways to come up with the balance you owe at the moment. Step 3, if any of these ways that you've written down involves borrowing and some loan of any type, you need to write down another 5 additional ways with a plan to pay back the loan. Okay, you cannot borrow money to pay loan backs unless you create a plan to create income. The only condition to borrowing money to pay loan back is to create income. Step 4, narrow down to the very best 3 ways you came up with the balance. Okay, and rate each according to best chances, okay, of getting the money back. Let me explain that. You need to write down you need to pick the best 3 ways out of the 5 different ways you wrote down. Pick the best 3 ways, okay, to come up with the balance, and also rate each one of them according to the best chances of getting the money. Step 5, execute on the hardest money source. Okay, so you rated them on step 4, right? You need to now execute on the hardest money source first until you get all the money. So you need to execute on the hardest one first, and then the second and the third until you get all the money you can get. Okay. Step 6, call your bank, the mortgagee or the lien holder, and ask them for a loan modification. Don't just offer to give them the money, ask them for some kind of deal. And the first thing you may want to ask for is a loan modification or forbearance, and it varies from bank to bank. Okay, you need to understand that the loan modifications and the process can vary from bank to bank. All you need to do is follow their protocol religiously. You need to write down, keep a schedule, put stuff in your schedule, and follow that protocol religiously. Don't lead by telling them how much you have raised. You need to lead with them giving you a deal on how to come up current. Okay. Step 7, last but not least, get to work on your plans to maintain cash flow in your household. Your property, okay, if you have an income property, get to work on the plans to create the income and the plan to pay any loans attached to this whole process back as soon as possible. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. This has been chapter 2 of the book Stop Foreclosure Secret. What I want you to do, I want you to go to stopforeclosuresecrets.com and download a copy of the full book, and make sure you read this book at least, I'm going to tell you right now, you need to read it at least 4 to 5 times, okay? You need to read the book at least 4 to 5 times, as I suggested in introductory chapter and chapter 5. And that's all I have for you on this particular video. Stay subscribed to this channel. Share this video with anybody you know may be going through the same issue. Thank you so much. I'll see you at the next one, and peace.